king, I am not a god, I am TONKKATT!
What's good, Tano, and welcome. Today's video is about the new Tonfas in Warframe, the TONKKATT. Build to take down level 9999 steel path enemies in Warframe. But first thing first, let me show you this weapon performance at level cap. And that's the power of the TONKKATT. Don't forget to like and subscribe for more content, Tano. Thank you so much. Now, how to get this weapon? TONKKATT main blueprint and components are acquired from playing the Galleon of Ghouls Tactical Alert, which runs from May the 2nd, 2025 to May 5th, 2025, and maybe we'll have this event in the future more, and May 16th, 2025 to May 19th, 2025. The first completion of the alert awards the main blueprint attached to an inbox message from the Conqueror Bay hack. Every completion of the alert rewards a random component. Very easy to understand, nothing crazy. Now, as always, before I build any weapon or any warframe, I rely on my method, the DVS. D stands for damage, element, faction. And V stands for how I proc 10 stacks of viral to make enemies vulnerable by 325% more damage to their HP. S stands for stripping enemies armor by lowering armor without their damage reduction to deal more damage. And of course, I want my comment section to be very informative to the new Thanos or veterans, so there is a Warframe community guideline for my comment section. Make sure to follow what to do and what not to do to keep it a constructive criticism and feedback to help everyone around. And of course, Tano, if you don't like my methods on how I proc viral and armor strip enemies, it's okay. You can check the sheet right here. It can help you maneuver around my methods to find your own style. As in Warframe, you can do things in many different ways, but the results pretty much always the same. And one more thing, Tano, during the gameplay against level cap that you saw earlier, the performance was without Arcane Fury, without Arcane Strike, and without any aura to increase the melee damage. So it was just pure without arcanes and without the aura. Also, that I didn't fully armor strip enemies or focus on that, and I didn't fully proc 10 stacks of fire and focus on that, and so you understand that the weapon could have performed better if I focused on TONKKATT for level cap with full DVS performance and full arcanes. Just that to keep in mind before I show you the build. Let's go. And now let's start with the Archon Shards. 2 Emerald Archon Shards to push the stacks of Corrosive from 10 to 14, to armor strip enemies instead of 80, 100%, using a weapon with Corrosive. It could be the TONKKATT, it could be Dual Toxic, it could be Shadow, it could be Epitaph, it could be wherever you want to prime enemies with. Now, if you don't plan on doing that, it's okay. You can take them off. You don't need them. Simple as that, and replace them with whatever you want. But remember to armor strip enemies in different way. For example, a helmet ability like Pillage, Terrify, or Thorough Strike, and so on. Or you're using Uniro from your Focus School, or whatever you like. Now, the other Archon Shards are Violet Archon Shards to gain 25% melee critical damage when max energy is over 500. And that's what we're running right here. And because it's 500 and plus, the damage boost is doubled. Of course, you want to run them Tau Forge. There is, of course, more benefits there. And you can replace the 2 Emerald Archon Shards with a Tau Forge Violet Archon Shards as well. Now, of course, you can play around with the Archon Shards. Depends on the Warframe you like, or the Warframe you're using, or the Warframe you're maining. Now, the helmet ability, I'll be using Nourish to proc viral on enemies that I attack, or enemies that attack me as well, and to get some energy here and there. Of course, you replace this helmet ability with any helmet you like. For example, if you like red crits, you can go Wrathful Advance. If you like Roar for multiplicative universal damage multiplier against any enemy. If you like to go with anything, just play anything you want. Just make sure to switch and maneuver the synergy on your likings. Now, when it comes to Revenant, now this time, of course, during the level cap run, I didn't run Steel Charge. Of course, you can play whatever aura you gonna or you want to play to keep your Warframe alive, like a Brief Respite or whatever you're playing. That's not gonna affect any, because I took the build again without Steel Charge, without Arcane Fury, without Arcane Strike to level cap. So with these three you can perform even better. So you can take down steel charge, there is no issue there. Arcane Fury for melee damage, Arcane Strike for attack speed, and that's pretty much it. Typical Revenant build, you already know that. Now, the Shadow right here is the one I use to armor strip enemies and slow them with cold, and Magnetica to increase my damage against shielded enemies and overguarded enemies, and primary dexterity for the combo duration. Since I play Cascade, I don't want to run Naramon, so I run the primary dexterity instead. But you can run Naramon if you're not going for Cascade. But for Cascade, we need more like Madurai for fast killing Thraxes and so on to keep it clean. Dual Toxic is just corrosive, or you can run the Compressor, Epitaph, Kuva, Nukor, whatever you want. Now for the TONKKATT. First thing you need to learn about the TONKKATT, that it has a unique trait. Increasing combo multiplier grants plus 4%. Hit damage for 15 seconds stacks up to 30 times. Unbelievably powerful. Now, Sovereign Outcast, the stance. Dreamer's Wrath to enable Tennokai. Tennokai, a sword will pop in your screen. When you perform a heavy attack, it will be free of combo multipliers. And the Dreamer's Wrath will increase the chance by 50% and the critical damage by 32% only for Tennokai attacks. Condition Overload. The more elements you have on the enemies, the more damage you'll be dealing. Voltaic Strike for electricity statue chance. And Galvanized Steel for critical chance by mainly for the critical damage that it gives, 120%. Weeping Wound for statue chance to make sure electricity procs more. As you can see right here, we have electricity only 12%, slash comes first. With Weeping Wound stacks, and Elementalist will be good to go in statues. Organ Shatter for critical damage, Blood Rush for critical chance stacks with combo multiplier, Galvanized Elementalist for statue damage, which is multiplicative to slash, electricity, toxin blast, heat, gas. Now heat will come from the unique trait, electricity will come from the weapon, and will proc all enemies around as influence kicks in. Slash comes from the weapon, we said that, and heat, and we have everything we need. Primate Smite Grunier is multiplicative damage against the faction you're fighting. You want to replace this every time you're fighting a different faction, until the E decides to give us a universal one. So we give all our prime, to make it fair, to give all our Primate Smite Hurricane or the normal Hurricane or like all the normal multiplicative faction modes, and they give us one universal with all the factions at once. But if you don't like to do that, boom, Prime Pressure Point instead, or you can just run the Gladiator Might right here. Totally up to you, or you can go for more attack speed, etc, etc. Simple as that. The build is really simple and straightforward. There is no much complications in there. Now, Nautilus Prime, this is the build for it, to pull enemies and increase your fire rate on your weapons and your critical damage with Tenacious Bond. But you need to make sure, actually use this one better, because this one shield SP is more for shield recharging tanks. So, Cordon to pull enemies, and fire rate from free reinforced bond, tenacious bond for critical damage if your sentient weapon has 50% plus critical chance. I'm using the best sentient weapon in the game, which is Verglass Prime, but you need a Riven for it with critical chance to get the 50% plus critical chance for the tenacious bond to work. If you want to sacrifice Tenacious Bond, use Verglass. If you don't, and you want Tenacious Bond to be active, Primate Laser Rifle, Volclock, or the Burst Laser Prime will do the job for you until otherwise. Now, let's test the build in Simulacrum. And of course, we will summon level 230 Heavy Corrupted Gunners, or known as the Hurricane, activating Nourish right there, and then let's get started. So, let me build our combo. Now we're getting the stacks of the heat, right about there. And now we get onto orange crits, and now we are 8 combo multiplier. Now remember, I'm not using the Tempest Barrage combo, which is the deadliest build I use when it comes to melee weapons. Look at that. We are not joking. As you can see, we're proccing heat and electricity, so melee influence, transferring all the heat procs to all those enemies around, and you know the heat stacks indefinitely. So yeah, there you go. Boom, boom. 2 million enemies are dead. So now let me switch this to, for example, the Tempest Barrage build that I use most of the times when it comes to melee weapons. So we're running Viral Tempest, so we make sure the Tempest Barrage will armor strip enemies and will proc viral on them as well. Let's go. Simple as this. All you have to do is proc Tempest Barrage, so enemies has full stacks of viral, and look at that. You'll be taking them down in no time. Just we need some combo. Get 7. We're at 7. Gonna go for 12. The moment melee influence procs with electricity, you will transfer everything that caused with your melee weapon except the physical attacks to all enemies within 20 meters. Look at that. easy peasy. Like, you don't even need to go for 12 combo. Of course, you can go with Wrathful Advance. I hope I have the Wrathful Advance still in there. Okay, here, right here, I have it right here. And then we can switch the Ready Steel for Glaives to use, for example, the Steel Charge right here, Fury Strike in there, and we got right here Wrathful Advance 344%. Very easy to use. All you have to do is hold, like so, and now we'll be doing red crits, baby. Welcome to the end game league. So technically, this is like probably like 3 helmet abilities, and of course, you can go for roar, for example, if you want to. I hope I have a roar. I think in the Archon build right here. I'm not gonna even use any arcanes for a melee or any aura for melee, just so I show you the power of this guy, like I did on level cap. So, like priming them with Shadow. I mean, what I'm trying to show here that this guy is capable of killing. It doesn't struggle, it's doing good, and it will not fail you. And it is very, very powerful Tonfa. I wouldn't say it's the best Tonfa in game, but I would say it is like really, really, really ranked high. And let's hope in the future maybe it become some sort of Incarnon, maybe some sort of like Coda or whatever. I don't care, but the most important part is any upgrade this TONKKATT will receive, it will become really, really good, honestly. In the end, I would give this TONKKATT a 7 out of 10. Is it worth building? Absolutely. It's an amazing Tonfa and it's worth building 100%. There is no doubt in there. Trust me, you know, if you take down level cap, it can take like anything below level cap and you'll be good to go. It will carry you through the game. There is no issues in there. I want to say, guys, thank you so much for all your support. Everyone that watched, liked, commented, or joined my Discord, or followed me on Twitch, or followed me on TikTok. Big love to you all. Thank you so much to Hall of Members, special VIPs, and Disputed Donator, Hall of Donations, and all my community. Thank you, guys, and see you next time.